I shall call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I'll ask for a roll call, please, Stacy.
Councilmember Gullickson?
Yes.
Talby?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Krills?
Yes.
Mayor Wallace?
Yes. Well, greetings, everyone. Once again tonight, we shall start tonight's meeting with Mayor Waller's quote for the day. This particular quote happens to come from a gentleman by the name of Ted Goff. I don't know how many people have heard of him, but he was an American cartoonist, and he specialized in drawing business and safety cartoons, kind of popular during the 80s. A lot of his stuff appeared in the Wall Street Journal and Reader's Digest, so thought we could all use a little humor. From now on, my bad decisions will be called leadership experiments. So hopefully we don't have too many leadership experiments, but I think I've probably had a few over the years. I don't know about the rest of you. It's supposed to be funny, but whatever. We'll move on with approval of tonight's agenda. Any additions or corrections, so we can entertain those now, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the agenda as is.
I'll second.
First and a second to approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we have our citizens' comments portion of the meeting tonight, and persons up are Joe and Jamie Beyer. They're here to talk about fire call fees. So one of you two want to come up, or both of you, that's fine. Just approach the mic and introduce yourself, and this is just for the record. State your name and I guess your address, and away we'll go.
I'm Jamie Beyer. This is my husband Joel. We own the Morris Motel out on the outskirts of town, and the physical address is 207 South Highway 9.
Okay, thank you.
So on June 13th, which was Friday the 13th, we came home to a smoke detector sound going off, and upon entering the room, we noticed that there was no fire, and my husband asked me to call 911, which I did, and very calmly gave my name and address, and not so calmly proceeded with the 911 call, telling the dispatch what had happened. And I've got a copy of that anyone is free to listen to, because on here there's some statements that I made the suggestion that we did not need the fire men to come to the motel.
You made it clear that we didn't need them.
Yeah, we made it clear, and she asked me a second time, and I said to Joe, we do not need fire, right? And no.
During this time, I'm in the room. Clearly, there's no fire.
There was a lot of soot, and there was some smoke, but there was no active fire. So again, on this, there's some things at the beginning of the 911 call that I feel I need to protect the privacy of. It was a fatality, and I need to protect the wife of this individual, and so I don't want to have it played publicly, but in here, there are things that you would need to hear. So the deputies showed up along with Matt Solomsas, the fire chief, who arrived in his own personal vehicle. He looked into the room that Joe was in, and also into the two rooms on each side, and there was no fire. There was nothing. And he said, yeah, we don't need the fire department. So we go about the night. The deputies are there. Because there was a fatality, we had to have the fire marshal come that night, and the call was made, and there were a number of deputies, I believe 4, that secured the room so that no one entered. And Matt chose to stay, and the fire marshal showed up from Fergus Falls at roughly 12:30, or 1 o'clock, I'm sorry, 1 o'clock. And then I don't know what questions he had. I was not out there. I don't know, were you out there at that time?
He
No.
just went in and did his thing and came and talked to me and told me what happened.
And advised us to not say anything to anyone, until the investigator had been there.
When I was in the room, I didn't even actually know there was smoke and there was soot. But I could not see any visible signs of a fire even happening because it was pitch dark in there. So when he came in, I said, was there even actually a fire? And he said, yeah, it was. And after the fact, when we were getting there, there was a fire.
So then, on Wednesday, July 2nd, I got a bill in the mail, for a fire call, which, I don't know if you wanna pass that around. There's a couple things that are not accurate on this bill.
Just over 3 months.
The date is wrong, but I had to have a deputy come and I'll get to that. So I called down, as soon as I saw the bill, I called down, and was told that Ashley was the one that, does the fire bill. And, she was not in, and so, happened to be talking to Stacy on the phone, and she gave me Matt's number to call. I called Matt, and he said that he had not talked to Ashley about the fire call, and there isn't a charge unless the fire trucks roll. He kept using that term. I said, you stopped here in your personal vehicle and there were no firemen or trucks on the scene. And he agreed with me, there were not. They did not roll. He told me to talk to Rebecca. So I called back to City Hall within minutes of talking to Stacy the first time and was told that Rebecca was not in and left a message for a call back. I then called the dispatch to ask if they charge for a deputy to come out and was told no. The reason I chose to do that, you can see on that bill, it says that it was June 14th. It says fire call and then June 14th, smoke alarm. I had to have a deputy come back out on Saturday because the smoke alarm was going off a second time. And we were not allowed to enter the room until we got the all clear a couple weeks later. And so I called the dispatch to make sure that they weren't charging me $850 for the cop to come and watch me walk in the room and take the smoke detector down. And she assured me that no, that's part of taxpayer money and blah, blah, blah. So then on Monday the 7th, I stopped at City Hall to talk to Rebecca and she wasn't working. So I talked to Ashley, who told me that she and Matt do not do the billing, that she gets the info from the dispatch and bills off of that. Ashley said that she, Rebecca, and Matt would have to talk and she'd get back to me. She did call me back that Friday, July 11th, and said that we would have to pay the $850 because Matt was not cleared from the scene until about 1 a.m. So my question is, or I've got a few things I'd like explained. What? If there's a policy in writing about the trucks not rolling, I would like to see that. I would like to see that where it says that we're gonna get charged $850 for Matt to come and stop at our house or at the motel and stay for 3 hours when he didn't need to. If I knew I was getting billed that much in that few hours of time, I would have asked him to leave. The dispatch did page fire. They showed up at the fire hall, and I know many times they'll just sit there and visit and whatever. They didn't roll. So I want to know, basically I've asked to see a policy and no one can provide me with that policy. There were, like I said earlier, there were a number of officers securing the room until the fire marshal arrived from Fergus. Matt did not have to stay. And I've had a number of people that I've talked to about this, and they say, well, turn it over to your insurance. Insurance will pay it. That's not right. I'm not going to turn that over as a bill for services that were not rendered. To make it perfectly clear, on this audio you can listen to, it was said at least 2 or maybe 3 times that we did not need fire. And she chose to dispatch And now I'm getting charged $850, and I don't agree with it. Do you have anything to
I just
add?
wanted to add that, you know, fire department's a service to the community. Okay, we never requested any service. We never got any service from the fire department. But yet, we got a $850 bill that we're expected to pay for a service that we didn't ask for, didn't receive. That's all I got to add.
The actual event was on that Friday then, the 13th?
Correct,
Okay, and the date on that thing says the 14th, okay.
correct.
All right, just,
And one more thing I just wanna add, my thought is if I turn this over to my insurance for something that I didn't get, that's fraud. So I don't feel that that's right.
And you guys know what insurance is gonna do.
Our insurance
I mean,
rates are gonna go
return-
up.
It's gonna go up for something that no fault of business owners, anything we did wrong. And we're gonna pay 90% of you fixing it up, get it back in business. Because that's just how insurance is now.
I have the incident report if anyone wants to see that. It's typed out.
Thank you.
yeah, well, thanks for coming in and just, you know, so you guys understand how citizen comments portions work. Typically, we don't take action on, you know, on tonight's meeting for this type of thing. And, you know, we usually like to take it under consideration because oftentimes when people come in about an issue, whatever the issue may be, it has to be researched. And in this case, you have some things that we need to probably look into, Becca. So I think we'll just, what's your thoughts? Just get back to them on this, or what's the council think here?
So the department was never dispatched out to your location?
They never left.
Trucks never
They
rolled?
did not leave the fire hall.
Dispatch called when we went on fire, and she still
Right,
called.
Dispatch them to the fire hall.
okay.
And Matt was there right away, and he looked around, and he was like, "There's no fire." I said, "Yes." Well, we didn't need fire department.
So did he call and tell them not to come in then? Cause
No.
I know
They were still all on scene, or all on standby at the fire
Yeah.
hall.
if there was no fire, why didn't he call it off? Cause he can do that. I know
I'm
he
pretty
can.
sure he
Sort
got
of.
on his radio and said, "There's no fire."
Which is why the trucks didn't
And-
come.
Yeah, and if they hung around for 4 hours, it shouldn't be my job. They could have been gone in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
When I talked to him today, he said it was a fire call, that it was, since it was a fire death, that the fire department was the one that would handle the scene.
But they didn't handle the scene, they weren't there.
He had quite a bit on standby just in case there was any issues. He said to me today that he was very lucky that the building didn't explode as he opened up the door.
Well, that's not true, because I opened it. And I
That
threw
is
the
what he
windows-
told me,
And I threw the windows open, so
so.
if it was gonna explode on somebody, it was gonna be me.
So I guess I don't know if we wanna talk too much about this, but, I mean, a fire call's a fire call. I did not know we paid them then.
Mhm.
For every fire call, they get paid a wage.
Yes,
as
so for
well?
every time the pager goes off, whoever attends and goes to the fire hall, we pay for at least an hour. If it's over an hour, if the fire call is over an hour, they don't clear the scene for even like an hour and a minute, then we pay them for 2.
Why didn't dispatch say that it was just a smoke alarm and there was no fire? I mean, why did they dispatch it when they specifically asked not to be dispatched?
It's probably a dispatch policy. It's probably a
I do have a
policy on the
policy.
county's end.
Yeah,
Did you want that CD that she has?
Mhm.
If you want to leave that with us, that'd be probably great. And we can
Want
have,
the incident report as well, or do you not need that?
well, do you have a copy of the incident report? You don't, yeah, we could use a copy of whatever you're willing to leave with us, and you can maybe leave that with Becca and she
I
get a
would bring it
chance.
back at the end.
Yep, obviously, yeah, for sure. Well, thank you, and I'll just, you can listen to that, see what you think, and maybe come back to us with what your recommendation is or thoughts.
Yeah, I'd be curious on what the incident report says as well.
Yeah, we'll take everything under consideration and keep you guys posted, okay?
All good, thank you.
for your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah.
All right, would anybody else like to approach the council? Now would be a good time. Seeing none, we do not have any public hearings tonight. We shall move on to our reading and approval of our regular meeting minutes from July 8th, 2025.
I'll approve the regular meeting minutes of 7/8/25.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve our July 8th regular meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now we have the same version of the condensed version of those minutes from July 8th, 2025.
I will move approval of the condensed minutes from July 8, 2025 meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the condensed version of the minutes from July 8th, 2025. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next before us is our consent agenda, which tonight consists of audit of city bills, our gambling reports, planning commission meeting minutes from June 17th, 2025, application for exempt permit for the Morris Fire Auxiliary, and then we have the tree board minutes from June 18th, 2025, and the last is a raffle license report. And I guess I can move approval of the items on the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I will now bring it back to city council for any discussion on any of those items.
Line 61, Railroad Management Co. Water Pipeline Crossing License Fee. Is that just a utility running under?
Right, yep, that's a yearly charge that
Okay.
happens each year with BNSF and the railroad with our water line going under it.
Okay.
They charge you to run every year to run it? Do we charge them to run over our roads?
It's their property.
You gotta remember who was here first.
Turkeys.
All right, any other discussion on any other items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. I'll just ask for a voice vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have under petitions, requests, and communications, we have a letter of support for the HRA apartment complex. And I guess I'll just ask Becca if you want to speak to that, please.
Yeah, so at the last council meeting, we heard from Jessica Kerwin on their new building and wanting a letter of support for their apartment complex. She did ask about having us contribute in certain ways by planting trees at the site and waiving the hookup fees. So I did put that in the letter. Not sure how many trees we would contribute to that. but, Russ said we would have some available, not with our grant dollars, but the, just a budgeted dollars to maybe plant a few trees there. And then the utility hookup fee, that's, our running average of what it would be for new hookups. So that's about, I think about 10 to 12,000. Thought on that, we will be having a project come up there in the next few years, so they will be assessed. So, you know, if they had this plus the assessment, which, you know, looking last year, if assessments stay kind of what was projected last year, it's about 18,000 for those. So
Will be assessed for,
utilities, for, when we redo the utilities over on that edge of
Okay.
town. Yeah. So instead of getting hit twice, could be a nice gesture with the HRA.
You know, we did this for the daycare pods as well, correct?
Yeah.
So are we willing to do that with the other, people that'll be building on that property?
I would say no, because we're giving them a TIF. So they get a
One or
different
the other?
form of help, so to speak.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
fine, just so it's clarified, so that, you know, we're not
Right,
just because we don't want to, or because this one, you mean.
right. And I think it's a little different too. These are government entities,
Well,
but
but
yeah,
they're all
yeah,
needed. I
yeah.
mean, we've already the same thing could be said, that
yeah,
we need housing, workforce housing, and if that's what's gonna be developed on that property as well,
right.
that's been a need, so.
When are we scheduled to update the utilities there?
So we're looking at that. We're surveying both the west side of town and that area to see which one is more of a need right away. Our initial thought was the west side of town, but with these two apartments coming on, we're gonna survey some things and figure out if
Does the
over here
load
is our
dictate needs?
best option to go forward. So, could be next year, could be a few years down the road.
Would these apartments be exempt from that, it being government? Or is it just a government loan and then it's gonna be under different ownership?
Do they pay taxes now?
I thought and we might have to look into that. I thought special assessments, even government entities had to pay that, but
I'd be in favor of not waiving the hookup fees and, later on ensuring that if they did have to pay something, I mean, we could also give them the hookup fees and also not also get nailed and have to hold up the assessment fees also.
true.
Mm-hmm.
So take that out of there.
I would not wanna waive the hookup fees and then later on if we wanna.
If we're confirmed
if
one
we're
way or the
confirmed
other.
one way or the other,
Yeah.
at least you've got one.
Right.
I don't think you wanna
Correct.
give them both up. I mean,
Right.
seems the federal government likes to take our money, so we might as well take a little bit back.
Okay, I'll take that out of the,
I would say just to confirm before approval there. Cause I agree, just making sure that either or.
And there's
Yeah.
really no hurry with this letter of support, correct? I mean, so you could,
You know, we're talking, what, 2 years before they get the
yeah,
paperwork
so I
done?
mean, if you wanna rework it and bring it back to us at our next meeting,
okay.
maybe we should just do that. That makes sense. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
that
Okay.
makes sense.
All right. All right, so we will just move on then to our next item. We got ordinances and resolutions. We have, our first resolution is authorizing the construction of Wells Park bathrooms and concession stand. The long-awaited project. All right, I'll let
Yes.
Becca speak to that.
Yeah, so we got two quotes for the bathroom project. One from REB Construction in the amount of $236,937.20, and then from Woolridge Construction in the amount of $261,620. So I would ask that the council approve REB Construction LLC in the amount of $236,937.20, which is under the budgeted amount of $250,000 that we put into the capital outlay. There is extra costs because we had to do a building permit, but still under the total cost.
Does some of the overall like engineering and some of the things that we've been doing leading up to this, was that factored into that 250, or is that a separate bucket?
That was all kind of hoping to be under that 250. Yep. And I think we made it.
And this price includes all the materials, plumbing, electrical, reading through all the fine print, so it's labor, material, electrical, plumbing, everything but yet the permitting fees.
Tearing it down. Yep. And our
city's
guys
gonna
will take
do
it down.
concrete, tearing it down,
Yep.
running water over to it.
Yep.
Is there any conceptual drawings at all for this? That would be nice.
I have them. I can send you those.
I'd like to see those if you could, so we
Yeah.
know what we're approving. Is everybody else comfortable with approving it without seeing a concept drawing? Or what do you think?
I am.
You're
And
good?
it's gonna be bathroom, and it's gonna be a concession stand and some storage. When we did the park tour, I think they
Okay,
explained it that night on pretty much how it was gonna face the fields, to back up to the storage area and some of the extra stuff towards that little alleyway that drives through there.
Has the park board seen this?
Not that I'm aware of on a conceptual drawing, but it was explained how it was gonna sit there.
I think
at our
Mark
meetings.
has, because I know him and Russ had gone out to the site because they wanted to angle the building a little
The
bit.
park board was involved in figuring out the best layout for what's needed.
Yep.
That would be my concern, my
Yeah.
biggest
Right.
thing
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
like,
'cause
yeah,
we're not-
they're
They
there.
spun
Yeah.
it around as far
Yeah.
as the storage, so it faced where you'd have access or easier to get to from that little bit of a roadway that goes
And my only
into.
thing was when we talked about it too that night, is that the overhang is big enough to shade that concession area. Cause he said it was like only 2 feet. Well, that's not gonna be big enough if it's facing that west, because right now, it's really hot. Like when you stand there, like, not that, but it is when it's a sunny night. So if the overhang could be a little more shade protective of that area, it would be great.
yeah, I'm a little more comfortable with it, knowing that the park board is at
Mhm.
least seen some drawings and things, and if they're supportive of it, I guess I don't really have a problem with it either. Any other questions regarding that? Otherwise, we'll entertain.
Well, if we make changes to it, is it gonna make a change to their bid?
It probably would, but I guess with needing to move forward with the plumbing permit, that takes about 8
Okay.
weeks.
So we would just
I
have
would-
to approve their
I mean, we could look at
modifications?
change orders if we
Change
needed
orders.
to.
Change order? All right, I'm okay with that.
And if we're gonna try that, and the whole point was, if I remember correctly, we're gonna try and do this like this fall yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta,
Right. Well, this is a long time coming, and it's gonna be a great addition out there for all the things that we have going on out there. So I will move approval of the resolution authorizing the construction of Wells Park bathrooms and concession stand.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution authorizing the construction of Wells Park bathrooms and concession stand. I'll ask for a roll call vote on that resolution, please, Stacy.
Councilmember Curls,
yes.
Salvi,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Gullikson,
Yes.
Mayor Waller.
Yes. All right, next before us is a resolution to execute the FAA Airport Infrastructure Grant for the airport terminal building construction design project. And once again, Becca, if you wanna.
Yeah, so our next project out at the airport is to do the airport terminal. So the first part of that project is the design phase. So this is the contract with the FAA to have our grant covering the 95% of the project cost. As we move forward in this, we'll get another grant form from the state to cover 2.5%. So our share of the building is 2.5%. So this is just the first phase. So we'll design the building this year, and then next year it'll go out for bids to construct.
Perfect.
Another project that's been
Overdue.
long overdue.
Yeah.
It will be really cool, and to have that much of it paid for is amazing, so.
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and move on that resolution to execute Federal Aviation Administration Airport Infrastructure Grant for Airport Terminal Building Construction Design Project.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve that resolution for the airport infrastructure grant for the airport terminal project. Once again, Stacy, I'll ask for roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Salvi,
Yes.
Trails,
Yes.
Tillotson,
Yes,
Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Waller.
Yes. Okay, we have our city manager's report and recommendations. Take it away there, Miss Becca.
Yeah, we'll start with the preliminary budget guidelines. So trying to keep our final levy between that 3 to 7%. A lot of these are kind of similar to the last few years, so we haven't received LGA numbers for next year. We are not expecting a decrease after this session, so thinking it'll probably go up just a teensy tiny bit, but not very much. We are going to budget for the preliminary health insurance at 10%. Our contract with PEEP is up this year, so they've been our lowest the last how many years. They are changing how they do their insurance, so it used to be a 2-year contract, they're looking at a 4-year contract. I know the 1 year, a few years back, they jumped about 49% in rates. So from what our insurance agent is saying, with the 4-year contract, the threshold to leave, if they up it so much, might go lower, but that's a big set in stone 4 years to be with someone if, with the health insurance. So we're gonna look at different insurances this year, but we will not know kind of rates or what our best option is until about October. So we will put in that 10% for the preliminary budget. We're gonna maintain our current workforce. Our police contract ends at the end of 2026. So we are talking about what their increases are for this next year, and then we'll have to kind of see moving forward how that looks. We are looking at a project on the west side of town, so we'll be getting some preliminary work done on that. We'll review all our fee and revenue accounts. I do believe we should probably look at the hangar rental fees and the farmland rental at the airport. Wages, we contracted and negotiated a 3-year contract, so we are settled for next year at a 3.25% increase in wages. We will have an election next year, so that'll be a cost. So usually those dollars on off years go into unallocated amount, so it won't raise our levy substantially by just moving those back to the election budget line. We did do our insurance renewal already. You saw that we had a property decrease for next year. Fire relief annual benefits usually go up about $50. We had that bigger increase last year, so we'll kind of look at where they sit this year, and probably I'm gonna guess we'll do about that 50 this year, unless their investments are very high, but we'll probably, since we did the big jump last year, probably a modest jump this year. We'll look at the probably modest increase of 3% to the Community Education and Recreation, and then Stevens County Economic Improvement Commission. We're gonna make sure we have at least $200,000 for capital outlay items. We will have to put in at least $276,000 to our bike path, because we have that as our cost share for our grant. So that'll need to be put into the capital outlay. We will maintain the policies for our franchise fees and look at the overlays and seal coating that we use with those fees. We'll continue to fund our tree maintenance. So we did receive 2 separate grants in the last few years for pruning and new trees. So we will continue with those. And we also, we have been seeing that emerald ash borer moving into our neighboring communities. So we'll have discussions on kind of next steps with that and how we're going to prepare for that. We'll look at our water sanitary and stormwater fees, probably just a moderate increase, a mild increase with that, just as we saw the big jump a few years ago, and now we'll just kind of try and sustain what we have. Consideration should be made to look at the replacement of the lead water lines in the city. So this is mandated by the state, so we're still working with engineers kind of on phase 2 of that project, which has been so far all has been grant dollars from the state to cities to fund this. So just kind of keeping it in our back mind that we may have to have at some point some funds for that, but just kind of sitting back and listening to what the state has to say about those. We have not heard back on the FEMA fire truck grant for the ladder truck, so we'll have that work session next week to kind of see what everyone's thoughts are on if we want to. I know we talked about maybe not continuing on the discussion of that path last year, so maybe not, kind of figuring out what our next steps are and looking at capital outlay with the fire station and the fire trucks that we have and where we need to be in the next 10 years for upgrades with the trucks. MnDOT is working on the Highway 9 sidewalk project. So funding is coming from them with a small amount for engineering, environmental impacts, and any utility relocates from us. So that's a project that'll happen next year. We've started the process on the liquor store. We'll look at budgeting to finish off this project for next year. And then our comprehensive plan is outdated, so I am looking at getting cost estimates to have a new comprehensive plan completed. So that should go into the budget for next year. We should be looking at what we need for equipment replacement in the next 10 years, capital projects for the next 5, capital improvement fund plan for the next 5 years. So those are some of the things we'll be looking at as we look at our budget.
Refresh me on that health insurance. So we've been on a 2-year going to a 4-year. Do we get rate increases every year, even with a 4-year? Do we have an option to in or out on that 4, or we're locked in?
You're locked in unless they go up so much percentage. So with the 2-year, you could get out if they went over 50%.
Okay.
So like the 1 year, the city had a 49% increase. So just not there to be able to go look for new insurance.
Sounds like a terrible.
Yeah, so when I talked to our insurance agent about this, when he talked about it towards the end of last year about going to a 4-year, he thought it was going to be a lot less, like about a 25 to 30% increase. And I know.
Feel good on a 25 or a 30, yeah. It's just
so. We'll see as we get insurances coming in. We'll kind of see what rates are. They have been the lowest.
Yeah, just keeping our options open and look at
yeah.
it all, but trying to refresh, because I knew we had options, but I couldn't quite remember how it was. But
Yeah.
Can you negotiate in a 4-year with an increase, like say if it goes 35%, we can opt out, or is there? Is that?
I don't think there's any negotiation and wiggle room with some of that since it's.
That's
state
I don't
insurance.
think that's a good place to be contractually obligated.
But
and to allow them to take it up to a certain percentage before you can do anything, well, they'll just threshold that thing all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So,
could.
yeah, well,
So we'll look and see.
see where the rates come back.
Yeah, last year we did go out for some, even though it wasn't our year to go out for them, and they were still the lowest by I think at least $500. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out with things, but we will be looking at other options for insurance to see what's better for employees and the city.
Is this health insurance?
Health
and
insurance.
Only health insurance?
Yep, just health insurance. Mhm.
Yes, we just renewed the property insurance and that actually went down.
Yes.
Yep,
And we do that every year.
Yeah.
yep. Yeah.
Any other questions off the preliminary budget? Thanks for the update.
Yeah.
Very good. City manager's report, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll start with the junk. So, we cleaned up 506 West 11th Street on Monday, the 14th. So that one is cleaned up. The burnt home on West 7th Street was purchased, by another party on the 18th. So that home, will be taken down within the next month.
Can I stop you a second?
Yeah.
On 506 West 11th, are the cars gonna be removed? There's cars sitting there, right? In that property too? Or am I thinking of a different one?
I thought those were taken care of, but I can double check.
Well, when I drove by there, I seen that we had cleaned it, took out the pallets and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But I still saw 3 vehicles sitting in the front yard.
Okay, so the last, I'll
Unless-
double check. The last time I looked, they were gone,
Unless
but,
they're,
so maybe they're back and we need to start the
unless I
process.
missed something, but when I drove by there, they were still
Okay.
there. But
I'll
that was
take a
about
look.
week ago, so. I was actually, I drove by the afternoon that they were there, so,
All right,
okay.
I'll take a look at
All
that
right,
one.
thanks.
Yeah. We're still working with the home on Pacific to get their lots picked up. So Russ met with him, I think on the 15th.
How's that going?
Good.
I seen him in front of his
yes.
place with a trailer full of stuff the
Yes.
other day. I'm like, you're adding to it and we're trying to take it away.
We're working on it. Certain areas look a lot better and then some areas are getting stuff. So I think if we continue to keep on things, it'll get better.
What is there any policy in the city, in the boulevard? Can people plant flowers in the boulevard?
I don't know.
In between the sidewalk and the road?
Are people doing it? I haven't seen
Well,
it.
I just noticed it on Fifth Street when you leave out of town about halfway, probably right across from the church there is about, at least the lot size of the whole boulevard is 4 foot high. I
Oh,
don't know what they
There's
are,
a couple
tulips or
properties
something,
that-
or whatever, comes right from the curb all the way to the sidewalk.
Yeah,
well, I'll look. I'll look and get
I was
back
just
to you.
curious.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's,
yeah, I'll look on that one.
maybe
See
they
if we
still
have
wanna mow it,
anything.
so they plant something like prairie grass or something?
No,
no, it's
It's
actual,
flowers.
it's a flower garden.
yeah.
Oh. Okay. I never noticed it before, but,
But I've noticed a couple other ones too, that they just let whatever weed that is that has some white flower on it, just keep growing.
yeah.
I'll look into that.
I see the house on the West 9th Street is gone and it's a leveled lot, looks good and potential for something coming in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking at, I believe they're coming to the next planning commission meeting to see if they can split that lot. Cause, it would go back to the original plat on the size, but with our ordinances, the way they are written, I can't let them do that. They have to come and get a variance for it. So they'll have some conversations on that, at the next meeting. The assistant city attorney has sent over a draft, on a junk ordinance, so I'll be looking at that and then bringing it forward to have some discussion on. Current things I'm working on the TIF reporting. That's due at the end of the month here. The planning commission met this month to approve a resolution stating that the TIF district and project, that is being requested is in compliance with the zoning codes. So at the next meeting, we'll have the public hearing for that TIF district. And they stated it's all within compliance. The park board met, talked about the budget, the Wells Park bathrooms, how the park tour went. They will not be meeting in August. They usually meet in the summer to kind of discuss projects and then what they're gonna request for different capital items, but since their money is going to the trails, they decided to take a month off. All the department heads are working on their budgets, and they're going to be bringing me their requests by the end of July, early August. The tree board met last week. There was discussion on the 110 East 8th Street tree. So Craig, with Craig's Tree Service, looked at it and stated there was no structural damage, many years left on the trees. So the board will formulate a letter on keeping the tree and have the city send it out. There's discussion on the EAB preparedness plan. So we are working on coordinating a group with within the county to kind of connect and plan prior to it being adopted. So we are looking at, I believe it's August 10th. No, I think it's August 12th. I'll be sending out a letter and letting you guys know too on what date we finalized on. I think it was the 12th at 10:30, looking at having it out at the county highway garage, just to have some discussion on the plan, how everyone is intertwined and what everyone can be doing. So that'll go out, I would say, later this week. I have a draft sent to Sue. Sue sent it back, and I have one more thing that I just sent her. So it'll most likely go out tomorrow. There were some hackberry trees that are having issues since the tree giveaway. So Tom with the tree board will be reaching out to those who received the hackberry trees to see how they're doing, and then we'll be in touch with the company on kind of next steps with them. Members from the tree board will be working on talking to the owners of businesses on Main Street to talk about what species they'd like to see planted at their locations from a preferred list from our downtown tree plan. So we're looking at about 4 to 5 trees yet this fall on Main Street. And then just some information on the Relief Grant and Shade Tree Grant that are moving along. We're halfway into the four-year grant, so they've been 2 years in. We've spent 66% of the Relief Grant, which covers the trimming of the trees, and we've spent 39% of the Shade Tree Grant, and that they have planted about 39% of the trees that we stated we'd be planting. So that one is on target. And then sustainability, our new sustainability coordinator had Blue Horizon out here last week to look at some solar panels out at the library. We either have a communication error or some issues with some of the solar panels on that library site. So her and I usually meet on Mondays. She was out and I was out, so we didn't get to meet yesterday to see kind of how that all panned out, but I will give an update after I know. And then we are hoping to send a few people from our Morris Model team up to the State Fair for a day. So, yeah.
Thanks for the report. Any questions for our city manager off the report? Hearing none, we shall move on to our mayor and city council board updates. I guess I could take the lead. I guess about the only thing I have to report is we had the music in the park last Thursday. It went over pretty decent. There was a fair amount of people there. Got to listen to some local talent and had a couple of food trucks there. So I think it was a fun night for those that were able to make it. Anybody else like to communicate anything about their boards? All right, hearing none. On other business, I guess I could just give a shout out. I was talking to Sarah at the chamber, and she asked me to mention to members of the council that she is once again looking for 3 people from the city council to help at the welcome picnic, and that is Monday, August 18th. And it'll run from 5:30 to 6:30. And if you're willing to volunteer, you just be there around 5:15. I think last year you and I and Kim, I think, were there.
Mhm.
It's kind of a fun night, just get to mix with the college kids. And
Mhm.
so I just thought I'd give you a little heads up on that. Informational items you had mentioned, July 29th, that's next Tuesday, right? We have a work session that night. Just
Yep.
kind of remind everybody of that.
Do
That'll be
we,
at
5:15.
5:15?
Do we wanna meet here or the fire hall?
Since part of the whole, I shouldn't say part, since the majority of the whole meeting is to, go around in the fire truck, it would make the most sense just to meet at the fire hall.
Fire hall.
I will post it then that we
Yeah.
will meet at the fire hall.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, all right. Would there be anything else to come before the council? Hearing none,